I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Empire State New Market Corporation for Friday, March 27th, 2015. I'd like to note for the record that I will be the acting chairman for today's meeting. Further, I note that this meeting is being webcast and that we welcome public comments on the items in our agenda. The directors have received the written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I'd like to ask the directors whether there are any potential conflicts of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. If so, I would ask you to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. We will then be sure that you can recuse yourself from any discussions or vote with regard to such items. Any recusal?
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the agenda. I have no conflicts.
Likewise, same here. And the foregoing having noted for the record, the first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the directors' meeting of September 29th, 2014. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions? I have none. What do you think, Sam? Any comments to the minutes?
No comment. They look good, and I offer a motion to accept the minutes.
Excellent. Is there a second? I guess I'll second it. And then all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Jonathan Hornby will now present the next item on today's agenda, requesting authorization for the corporation to adopt its operating budget for fiscal year 2015-2016. Jonathan?
Thank you, and good morning. This is a request for approval of the proposed fiscal year 2015 and 16 operating budget. ESNMC was incorporated in 2004 for the purpose of applying for an allocation of federal new markets tax credits from the Community Development Financial Institutions Fund of the U.S. Department of Treasury. ESNMC was awarded a $30 million allocation of NMTCs in May 2009, and with that allocation, ESNMC closed two NMTC transactions. An $18 million investment in September 2011 to AgriPharma for the expansion of production in rural upstate New York and the creation of 450 new jobs. $12 million investment in September 2012 to the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation for the redevelopment of an environmentally contaminated building in the Brooklyn Navy Yard and the creation of 504 new jobs. In October 2015, ESNMC submitted an application requesting a new $60 million allocation. ESNMC is currently awaiting notification from the CDFI fund regarding that application. ESNMC continues to service the two closed transactions and hopes to receive a new allocation so that it can close further transactions. The ESNMC Board of Directors is thus presented with the attached proposed operating budget for fiscal year 2015-2016. It is to be noted that ESNMC revenues come from fees charged on transactions. In fiscal year 2014-2015, ESNMC revenue was approximately $150,000. In addition to the expenses funded by fees ESNMC receives from transactions, ESNMC incurs certain transaction-specific consulting expenses that are paid by borrowers directly from transaction closing proceeds. Such expenses and the reimbursements associated therewith have been excluded from this budget. The proposed fiscal year 2015-2016 operating budget reflects $85,610 of expenses. The expenses will consist primarily of payments for legal fees, accounting fees, consulting fees, and insurance. The directors are requested to approve the proposed ESNMC operating budget for fiscal year 2015-2016. Thank you.
Terrific. Thanks, Jonathan. Any questions or comments from the directors?
My only comment, Mr. Chairman, is that it seems like a very tight budget. It seems like a reasonable budget, and the team that we have working on this project seems to do an awful lot with minimal resources. So I applaud them for their fiscal constraint. I see that Margaret has joined us, and assuming
Sam, how are you?
I'm good. Assuming that Margaret has reviewed the budget, I think it looks like a good plan.
Thank you, Sam. I did just want to ask Jonathan, maybe just for the board, the timing on when we hear about the next allocation.
Yeah, so last year we heard in June. Usually it's announced around spring. So we're expecting May, June timeframe for this year to hear back.
As well. Okay,
yes,
good.
Absolutely.
Right.
So that's the hope.
That's the hope.
Fingers, toes, everything crossed on that.
Yes, exactly.
Announcement too. So.
Good. Great.
Are there any comments from the public? If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Great. Second? And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank everyone for your participation in today's meeting. Now there being no further business, I'll call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Excellent. Very good. Thanks, everyone.